All right. Well, we're back. Uh, if you're new, I'm God blessed. You can call me sir. Um, Today we're just gonna do a little weekly blog. Okay. So, what have we learned so far this week? There are things that can be thought and manifested into reality. As an example, if you were to look at a menu and as the waiter says, "What will you be having?" You start looking through that menu and you mull over the options, the possibilities, the multitudes of things that you might like. And then you make a decision based on that. And then once you're eating, you don't even realize that you manifested that out of mind. The waiter didn't suppose that you were going to eat. You wound up there on your own accord. So what does this mean to you? You probably got to get another job. For me, I just want to tell you guys about back in the days, back in the day, back in the analog era, Errol, the analog Errol Flynn, there were a thing called cables, okay? Like this. Cords, wiring, you know what I mean? All kinds of electrical stuff. At this point, if you're watching this, it's done. You've already cruised on over to a different world of wireless. Like, everything we're doing is wireless, even this camera. Like, there was a time where all this had to be plugged in. I can literally upload this wirelessly later, and the router's wireless. And the only reason why that's plugged in locally is because we haven't figured out how to have like the city run our internet instead of these phone companies. So, as I speak to you about back in the day, of course I bring up analog gear like the old what do you call it, cassette tapes, you know. I dealt with a reel-to-reel tape player a few years back, and I actually had to thread um, like boxes of tape in there and figure out how to play back with this archaic machine. Needless to say, if you've played a VHS or a cassette tape, it's the same thing. It just doesn't have the housing, and you have to, put it up there. It's pretty ill. I start to think about these things, about the changes. Like, I remember when I was a kid realizing when music got whack, and I think I'm kind of figuring it out, that it was when everything went from analog to digital, that it missed an element of spirit and like kind of illness to it that was crucial. You know what I mean? Um, at any moment, I'm gonna leave you because we're trying to see how much space is on this, and if there's a glimpse of opportunity to catch you later, hit me up on at scriptflip.info. I mean, forget that. Forget that. I don't pay for that website anymore. Don't go to scriptflip.info, but go to like I don't know if this is Daylight talking to me or like somebody else. Like, he says like weird stuff that seems like form letters. So basically, you guys like Twitter. Go to Scriptflip Hip Hop, and no one knows how to write it. SCRIPFLIP. I mean, give me a break, people. Scriptflip Hip Hop. This trail over here leads right to a house. We go directly back here, and there's like a trailer or something, and like a house. I would say right about here is where I should stop. But like, if you notice, like back in the day, we couldn't even do this with the internet. I couldn't even like distribute a tape around of what I'm doing later. Like, this is so brand new and outrageous. You know what I mean? And the little things that we've done with it, these transmissions are so like rudimentary based, like they're just like they'll be totally, they'll look ridiculous. Like, you know how you think those antique videos of like people would run away from the train pulling into the station, you're like, oh, those idiots. We got to be a more sophisticated audience, right? And it became more sophisticated as filmmakers. This whole thing, this handheld wireless stuff, this is all like we're cavemen given like laptops. It's crazy. Do you understand? I sure don't. And it's like every time I thought I kind of figured out the angle and all that, um, it very quickly changed. And when I think of everything going cordless, even the headphones, to the point where you've got a Bluetooth transmitter on your cabled headphones, because your device isn't going to have ports anymore to receive cables. I mean, I got to the point where, like, I want to just sit back for a minute and see how this goes, because what are we even dealing with? Truth be told, I'm talking to you on an ancient phone. This is like a LG Lucid. Google what year that came out. But yeah, I tried going live with my iPhone so many times, and like there's a problem with the front facing mic. So I can't look at comments or anything like that. So I'm probably not gonna be going live with you guys unless it's on like a different thing. I'm not crazy about live because it's just like people getting offended. Have you been offended yet? And then they try to offend me. You know what I mean? Like, I spent a whole lot of time on Periscope, and like, there's a lot of like comments that are predictable. You know what I mean? I totally like messing with the people that'll hang out with you for a little bit and chat, but like, people will be asking the craziest questions and then they leave like right when you start. They're like, you ever play basketball? And you're like, man, basketball. And they're like, so and so's left the room. See, that's a whole other thing. Is that like when I talk about the back in the day, take this in consideration with where we're at though, like where this is going to the point where like I'm afraid of putting my foot in the water because it's like in the forever box. You know what I mean? You say something slick and then wind up hemmed up with that little soundbite forever. I mean, GIFs. If we had GIFs like when I was in high school, like the way they use them now, you know what I mean? Dude, I can't imagine. Like, it's not worlds apart really with the technology I was dealing with when I was like, a little G, but like, it's kind of weird thinking that even in this short amount of time, like, it's completely like flipped on its ear. I mean, I can't call it. Sit there and prognosticate, you'd be like, oh, one of these days they're gonna can't predict anything. It's like, but I don't say this to be negative. Maybe to inspire you, maybe to inspire me. To be honest, there was no title to this video when I started it, so this weekly vlog will be called No Dumping, because that's what we're we're next to is a no dumping facility. So maybe I'll get a shot of that. Man, I hung out at this this grocery store earlier. I was trying to watch this video, and I was sitting out there forever, like at least 2 hours. And it was like the pharmacy window probably sent out the manager, because he came out and he was just like standing there. When I look over, he's like, he's just like stealing Wi-Fi. It's like, how long have you been standing there, dude? You know, he was just like, no, they said it was like, I don't know, it's been suspicious, and I'll just tell them you weren't doing anything. Like, I'd rather just go. This has been this has been awkward, and I'm God blessed. So maybe I should reach out to you with some scriptural stuff. You guys like the Bible? I like the Bible. I've been collecting copies, and I've been hung up on this scripture that like bugged me out, man. You guys ready for this? I don't think you're ready, and it might die before we get to this. Talk about back in the day, bro. You gotta read the Bible. This is heavy. So in the book of Mark, they talk about John the Baptist, and this was a prophet saying that there was someone better than him coming, and he had a huge influence as it was. This dude was murdered. From what I understand, this king had it out for him because he called him out and told him, you can't marry your brother's wife, dude. And then he was like, oh, for real? And like on a technicality, based on a request, I'm guessing something about how his daughter did this dance, and it was so pleasing that he said, I'll wish you anything that you'd like to be granted. She goes like, I don't even have to read it out here. I'll just tell you this is in script flip terms. All right, so she's like, I want the head of John the Baptist, son. And they're like, yeah, that's what I thought. Let's do it. So they kill John the Baptist, put his head on a platter, and that's what they sent out as a warning. They tell Jesus, bro, this dude means business. What are we gonna do? And you know, they ask him these things like, come on, man, what are we gonna do, man? What are we gonna do, man? He's like, let's just go somewhere far away and rest. What? I gotta find it too, because it's like, it's more eloquent in the book. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what though, you should read it for yourself, because it's ill. Alright, so we've got, I don't even know where I was in here. I've got a few copies in different translations, and that helps me to understand, you know, what they're talking about. But because of that, I don't remember where I was. So the apostles gathered. We're in Mark chapter 6:30. And the apostles gathered themselves together unto Jesus and told him all things, both what they had done and what they had taught. He said to them, come ye yourselves apart into a desert place and rest for a while. For there were many coming and going, and they had no leisure so much as to eat. So it seems like, and I'm giving you terrible context. That's funny. I had this bookmark in there from Genesis. This cat from around here. it got chocolate all over it. I had like chocolate, I guess, and it just like melted somewhere. I don't know, like all these pieces of paper, so it's like a chocolatey bookmark. I was looking for it. I was looking for that scripture, and the bookmark was right there. I just started thumbing through. I was like, nah, I couldn't possibly be on this page. So we've gone pretty far. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. All I know is there's about 700 megabytes total for the stream, basically, for what we can do here for this weekly thing. So far, I'll tell you what, I've been doing this new weird job. I'll tell you one thing. UPCs, unique product codes, baby. If you ain't hip to that, I can't help you. But they had me double up on work lately. And I've been just like going crazy, like, who am I? What is the point of this? You know? You know what I'm talking about? But yeah. There's still time for us to adapt to the new technology and have like very efficient, like forward thinking, you know, to match the futuristic stuff. You know what I mean? Not this like FaceTime glitchy, like you know what I'm talking about. It's not fully there yet. It's like they want us to have these things that we've seen in movies, but they're not there yet. You know, like the VR stuff is not there yet. I saw the Oculus on a PC back in like 2014 or 15. And I'll tell you what, that was ill, but it was still pretty primitive. And then it's like, bam, right then that December or whatever, they start putting these $5 headsets that you put your phone into. And to be honest, I don't have it. And I'm not interested because I know it's not there yet. And all it reminds me of is, if you remember, or you can look this up, Aerosmith videos from like the Get a Grip era or something like that. They got videos with like Liv Tyler, the singer's daughter, and Alicia Silverstone, and they're just riding. They're riding with this dude, but this dude isn't riding with them. He's got a VR headset on, and he's just sitting in his room, like pretending to be, you know, this Mac dad, just like chilling with these girls with long hair. They just like, they just like throw their hair around. That's the whole video. They just like, and then they just blow their hair around. That's all I remember. And I especially remember when they try to like, they talk about how like it's so realistic to him that like he skeets, because like in the video, his little Slurpee falls over, his big gulp drink falls over, and the juice just kind of out the side of the cup. Don't blame me, blame Aerosmith, because this is what they used to play on MTV like every day. But yeah, like, it was like a joke in the 90s. Now here we are, you know, and people are like, they're talking about VR porn. Like, that seems to be like the new thing. Like, excuse me, crack is whack. Say nope to dope. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Shit. There's bees everywhere right now. It's like they're looking for flowers and the flowers haven't popped up. They're like, you got some flowers, buddy? No. You smell like a flower. No, I'm not a flower. You sure you're not a flower? I'm looking for a porta potty. Maybe a spot where I can tinkle. You know what I mean? You ever had to pee before? You probably haven't, because you're a robot. You probably have never urinated before because you don't have a bladder. You don't drink fluids. You're like a synthetic creature. Because at this point, I'm sure this has been logged and filed in the forever box. And I'm talking to people, it's such a far off future that like their brain is just suspended into a machine. Is that what we're talking about here? Is that what y'all want to get into? You want to unthaw Walt Disney's head and attach him to something like Futurama or something like that? Is that what you want to do? Okay. snap back to reality. And that's the weird thing about this technology stuff, is that like if we got dead people immortalized in whatever art stuff that they did, if we blend this art stuff with this reality TV stuff, with this live stuff, we got a concoction that's gonna create a different type of society, because mofos are putting on a front. Okay, so we need to really figure out what all this is. If art imitates reality, if reality imitates art, nature or nurture, if it's Beach Boys or Beatles. I'm glad I'm still with you. We got 20 minutes in. What do you think on this phone with it says it's a VGA? What kind of format is that? If this VGA file has 700 megabytes before we reach maximum capacity on the device, how many minutes does that make the video? I mean, your answer will be how long this video actually is. But yeah. So you've been rocking with your boy Mr. Script Flip for quite some time. I want you to see if you can recall the first time we met. If you actually, do knew me, if you're a newbie, whatever. Let me know in the comment boxes, or whatever the heck this is, and whatever year you're watching this in. Cause I bet some of you people, see, like back in the day, when I was like Facebooking like a lot, at least I think that would be a lot. There was like a whole bunch of international people like that were like into my stuff. Like I would look at the metrics and there'd be like people from all over the place on my Bandcamp and like stuff like that. And like fans of cannabis and stuff like that. They're all like supportive of each other. You know what I mean? I got rippers all over the world like who keep up and stuff like that. And that's crazy, man. Like if you guys don't know about cannabis, you guys are missing out, because that guy's just like hyper intelligent. If you're into learning stuff, you like to listen to KRS-One or something like that, why would you not want to at least read some cannabis? That dude is out there. So he attracts some very intelligent minds. And I respect a lot of those people. I respect all the juggalos too, especially in these days where like the cool thing in juggalo world is to say you're not a juggalo. You know what I mean? Like, that's silly. That's bananas. That's the type of stuff that gets you in one of those awkward fights. You know what I mean? But I haven't seen anybody like fighting over a chain or something like that in a long while. But it just seems like these days, real juggalos are still the shit. You know what I mean? If you ever met a juggalo that you thought was an asshole or something, he wasn't a juggalo. I promise that. I don't know. It's like there's definitely some fresh mystical magic around that. So what's up to all the ninjas out there who lurk around and slither and sleuth and digest some of the content that I put out? Some of you guys, I don't know where you came from. And it's remarkable, especially when we open up to these other channels of like networking on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, when it comes to high school cliques, it's like you can qualify and quantify and sift and sort and figure out like who you are as you fit into those things. But when you look at like a global scale, it's like it's a little daunting, the idea that you are vapor, you're a grain of sand or something. I wonder if you can see this. There's like a pile of ants here, like it's going nuts. It just looks like cake on the ground, basically. There's so many of them. It just looks like a stomped chunk of cake. But yeah, so I also think there's some people out there who might be some Prince people. What up to all the, what do you guys call yourselves? You know what I mean? Like, I met some pretty cool people through you know, that circle, you know, like tape trading and all that type of stuff. There's some cats, maybe I shouldn't say their name, who got some ill demos, man. And like, I gotta say, like, those types of people, super generous. Like the ones who collect and they're sharing and stuff like that. Because there are like vulture community things with this piracy stuff. But like, you can tell that these people care about Prince's music, because like, you know, even if they mess it up, like they'll make their own masters to try and put it out so that like you're not listening to like a real crappy quality version that's the only source they've got. Um, that's something I haven't met like any of you people in person. I haven't met anybody who's into Prince. You know what I mean? Like you guys, somebody like, you into Prince? They're like, sure, man, for sure, really into Prince. You're not that into Prince, are you? Like, no, I know Raspberry Beret. I know that song. I like that song. Whoa. Okay, so this is creepy. There's like some junk out here. Trash out here. There's like TVs out here. There's like one TV, a computer monitor, two TVs, three TVs, another a commuter monitor, and then a car seat. And like the TVs look kind of like fresh, like they've been here like for not long, but it's like it's ill. It's ill. It's like it's just like there's some growth around it. To me, that's what we're talking about right here. That's exactly what I'm trying to get at. Is like, that's a mix between technology, high technology, being just thrown away. You know what I mean? We don't need it anymore. Like, we had an era where we shot a bunch of stuff and it was all in black and white. And then, you know what? We changed standard and we were like, you know what? Fuck all that black and white stuff. It's like this a niche thing. It's like something that we use as a novelty now, and we're trying to be artsy fartsy to add some black and white, and we disregard the old stuff. We hold it in a different realm, like it's irrelevant. So again, I'm asking you, where are we going with this? We got a road closed sign, huh? I don't know if you guys could see those monitors, but that was an experience. That was like a mirror effect of the thesis where we're going here with this no dumping thing, with this technology and like old school back in the day and now, because you don't even see computer monitors and TVs like that. I was thinking the other night, I remember the first time I saw Dogma. I was watching this DVD that I got on eBay, and I popped it into this TV that I plugged my PlayStation into. Dude, now we got this stuff in our pockets. It's insane. It's like I can't keep up with how fast it's gone. Like, I bet that TV that I plugged that DVD player into had a VCR into it. How about them apples? You got a TV with a VCR in it. Those were so fresh when you were a kid. I remember being in this kid's room. We were in this basement hanging out, and they popped in Austin Powers 2, The Spy Who Shagged Me, in their tiny TV next to their toy box. That was so fresh. How fresh was it? It was about this high in the freshness meter. Okay, so we're talking. This is it's gonna get stale when it gets down here. It was like that fresh. It's pretty fresh. It was almost as fresh as the time when I figured out that like my dad had been hiding a original NES in our house the whole time I've been living with him. I plugged in this game and I was playing Duck Hunt, and I was ducking behind my blow up chair that I just got. I was like taking out these ducks, you know. It's getting all sweaty. I take my shirt off. I'm duck hunting, man. I'm out here duck hunting all day, bruh. Okay, so the duck hunting was nice, but how dope was it? On the freshness meter, it was about there. Every time I'm walking around here and I see like a car creeping, it's like I'm like, just let me be. And now they went the other direction. All right, so what do I think is going to happen in the future with this? I've thought that eventually, because everybody's going corporate in some degree, that your family name will be corporation, or you'll have some sort of divisions of LLCs and just different foundations and stuff like that that your people are associated with, and that eventually it's all gonna be like a reality show. You know, you can just sit and watch like Pawn Stars or like Orange County Choppers or The Real World. Okay, so they'll just incorporate this whole other cross-genre social media reality show shit with. So it's like if you work at Sam's Club, they'll have you in a reality show as your character doing your job. You know what I'm saying? Like you would be working your social media handles on your own separate basis, trying to land other gigs or something like that based on that. And it's all just like a popularity contest and stuff. Like what we've got right now, but like heightened to the point where like you're bigger inside of the internet world than you are in the real world or something. And like it's like you get famous doing like really really dumb stuff that like no one would care about. You know what I mean? Like something that's like not dysfunctional but just doesn't make sense. Like if I showed you what I did for my job, you would be befuddled and beside yourself. If I had a way to like mount like a GoPro and just keep talking to you guys all day, you would be flabbergasted to see that I can make money doing what I'm doing. But I would say this: be careful if you get approached to try and do some sort of a corporate buyout. You know what I mean? Sundance Film Festivals. They're gonna watch your John and Kate +8 documentary, and then sell it off to like a production company or something. How do I put this? I'm trying to speak in English here. Uh, don't turn yourself into a little cartoon caricature of yourself in order to continue in this new digital world, in this new thing that's like, just remember what values the elders had. You know what I mean? Like, there's gonna be a time where I think we'll be super sophisticated with the way we are in society and online. There's not gonna be any of this like freaked out to talk to each other thing. There's not gonna be any of that. I think it'll be cool. So think about these things idealistically and sidestep the catastrophe. Don't think about the way that things can go wrong or whatever. But it is fun to see that once upon a time, I thought it'd be cool to have an N64 plugged into a pair of shoes. If I'd have known how far we'd get to have like super futuristic stuff, in my time. Feels like I could have come up with an idea, they're like, we're gonna have this Model T Ford coming out pretty soon. What's it do? You can just go over there, you sit in it, and then you come back over here, and you crank this thing, and That sounds cool. You know, if I had one of those, I'd probably drive up to, you know, the old cider mill. Yeah. And then I'd go do that. But no, instead this stuff just plops out of the sky out of nowhere. And then immediately after it's like applied, applied, after we actually are using this military grade stuff, Steve Jobs dies mysteriously, and then we just kind of we just forage on into this world where we think that the internet is real. I don't know, it's weird. Because in this world, I'm talking to myself. But then again, I'm talking to you. Like, this doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous. So, 36 minutes in. I'm glad we've been able to talk. This has been a weekly vlog. If you haven't noticed, I'm in a bit of a cemetery right now. And that's not a metaphor. I'm literally walking back to my car, trying to hide from the light actually, because it seemed to get too bright. I figured I'd come out after it got dark, but I wouldn't be able to be doing this video if it was dark. Now, would it be possible? Probably. But I don't know if it's normal to have somebody in the dark just rambling on in people's neighborhoods. And I most certainly can't be here after 9 p.m. Don't get it twisted, kids. Don't hang out at the cemetery after dark. That's illegal, folks. So, in closing, I hope that you guys continue to wear your shoes laced up properly, and you should wash your hands every time you're at a sink. Just think about all the stuff that you've been touching, and think about eating a vegetable more than other stuff that you might be eating. I'm not saying I've been able to appreciate the whole foods as much as I should, but I'll tell you this much: if you chase some of that pizza with broccoli, your body will be happy. I think a lot happier than if you ate just the pizza. You hear me? Do you comprehend? Alright, toodaloo. If you want to hit me up, the Instagram's the same, at ScriptFlipHipHop, and I'll leave an email somewhere if you want to send me some beats, or if you got any tracks that you want me to rap on. I will drop a 16 if you're interested. Just don't be sending me any of that fast bullshit. Give me something. Just give me something just to cruise with. I'm not trying to, get buck and kick a hooker. I'm trying to just mellow out. So, if you want to know more, visit your local library. Pick up a copy of the New Testament if you get a chance, and tell your parents I said hi, and to thank them. And to thank them for hooking up, because you are a wonderful character. You're a great person. Just remember to remember that you don't have to remember. You'll know. Yeah, I meant to say that.